Over the last few years, I have decided to get some stuff done. I finally graduated with my bachelor's degree. I climbed Mount Vesuvius in Italy, and I tried Swedish death cleaning. And I'll talk about just how meaningful Swedish death cleaning was for me and the lessons I learned in just a little bit. Today, I'm going to go over how I interpreted Swedish death cleaning. I actually never even heard about it before until I was watching YouTube one day and I saw one of my favorite YouTubers and her mom giving it a try. To be honest, the title scared me a little bit, but I thought, well, what the heck, I'll give it a try anyway. When I started Swedish death cleaning, I broke it down into segments or categories. The first one was household items. The second one was sentimental items. And the third one was my personal belongings. Now, the very first segment I tackled was my household items. The reason I did that is because it was the easiest one for me to make decisions on. I zoomed through my kitchen like nobody's business, getting rid of items that were duplicates or worn out, or gifts that I received that I just never used and never would use. I tossed out those worn out items, and anything else I asked my kids and my nephew if they would want it. There was a few times where I thought, whoa, you don't want this? Especially when I paid a lot of money for something. I thought, oh, for sure they're going to want it. But no, if it wasn't to their taste, they did not want it. If they already had one, even if it was less expensive, they didn't want it, and that was fine. It was kind of surprising to me, but what are you going to do? And if they said no, I checked on eBay to see if it was valuable or not. Anything over $25, I went ahead and listed. Now, this didn't happen in one day, that's for sure. I really couldn't believe it. I've been selling on eBay for about 24 years, and I go through my house about twice a year, getting rid of anything that we just don't use. But this time was different. This time I included things that I thought my kids would want and that I was hanging on to for them, but that they actually did not want. Now, if you decide that you want to sell some stuff on eBay, make sure that you check out my video, 20 Mistakes to Avoid in Only 10 Minutes. It will save you so much time and energy and give you a lot of great tips so that you don't make the same mistakes that I have. So if an item wasn't sellable, but I still felt like it was a really great item, I asked all of my neighbor friends if they would like it. We have a group chat, and a lot of us will just put something in there, and oftentimes somebody will take us up on it. So I thought that would be a great way for my neighbors to get some stuff that they might like. And finally, if nobody wanted my stuff, I was happy to donate it. I had so many trips to the donation center. Little intermission. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video, and please leave me a comment below. I would absolutely love it if you gave me some ideas that I haven't covered here. The next segment was my personal items, like clothing, accessories, or even jewelry. I actually made a lot of strides in this segment using Swedish death cleaning. The entire time I was going through my personal belongings, I was trying to remember what it felt like back in the day when I truly appreciated my clothes and my accessories. Do you remember when you had that one special handbag or that one awesome shirt you just loved to pull out and you couldn't wait to wear it? Back then, I had one handbag, I wore it out, and then I would purchase another one. Somewhere along the way, I accumulated quite a collection of handbags, wallets, sunglasses. I would change them up with my outfits. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're that type of person. But for me, it was getting a little bit out of hand. And in my small house, it was taking up quite a large amount of space. I got rid of all of those handbags because when I reflected on it, I actually didn't love any of them. There wasn't one of those handbags that I felt so strongly about that I couldn't part ways with it. Oftentimes, I found myself settling, and this was just a perfect example of settling for me. And my wallets were the same story. I settled on those too. I wasn't particularly fond of not one of them. My sunglasses were all worn out and they needed to be replaced anyway. So I parted ways with those too. When we downsized our home several years ago and decluttered a ton of our stuff, we did it because we wanted to save money so that we could travel more. And going to Italy was one of the best experiences ever. It was my first time overseas. While I was there, I decided to replace a couple of things. I got 2 new handbags, only two, and I love them. I haven't stopped using either one of them since I got home. I also replaced 2 wallets, and I replaced several items in my wardrobe. If you'd like to see what clothing purchases from Italy worked out for me and what didn't, check out my most recent closet decluttering video. So now I have 4 sunglasses I love, 2 wallets I love, and 2 handbags that I love. This new lower quantity of these items has given me space back in my dresser and my closet. And it's also reduced my decision fatigue. I no longer have to wonder what on earth I'm going to use. And I don't feel guilty when something's just sitting there either. I couldn't be happier, actually. I succeeded in my goal of finding value in what I own. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever experienced decision fatigue, and have you gotten rid of some items, and has that helped you out? The next category was sentimental items. Now, this is not such an easy category for a lot of people, and I would say it was sort of a medium category for me. Some things I easily let go, and other things were a little bit harder, especially where it pertained to my kids. I went through my memory bins, my kids' memory bins, and also bins that I had things in that I was holding on to for my kids. And I have to say, it was one of the best experiences ever. I didn't anticipate that I would have so much fun doing it, but it actually was so much fun. We shared stories that were long forgotten, and I found out some things that I never knew about. And I am so happy that I did this individually with my kids. It was such bonding time. They parted ways with a ton of stuff, and I fully supported them in that. These are their memories, not mine, and I was really happy that they could let go of things and keep the items that were truly meaningful for them. I was really surprised at myself that I didn't have a problem with them letting things go like that. There was only a couple of exceptions. One was my son's Lion King shirt. I just had such fond memories of him when he was a little guy running around in that shirt that I just couldn't part ways with that. But the rest of it, I was totally fine with. So here's what I learned from all of this Swedish death cleaning. I feel great about getting rid of the items that I thought my kids would want, but they actually didn't. Those decisions are now off my plate, and they're not lingering in the back of my mind any longer. I also feel really good about parting ways with the things I thought that I needed, but I actually didn't. Sometimes you don't know that until you take time to evaluate each item. And that's what I did during the Swedish death cleaning process. One thing I'll tell you is it feels really good to know that my kids won't have to deal with a bunch of stuff one day, like I had to deal with when I lost my dad a few years ago. I only wish that I would have watched that video a lot sooner when my dad was still alive, and I could have brought that topic up to him. I'm sure that he would have enjoyed spending time with me, going through his stuff just like I enjoyed spending time with my kids. One of my biggest lessons of all is I learned that just because I got rid of something that didn't bring me joy, that I didn't love anymore, that wasn't useful anymore, or that my kids did not want, did not mean that I have to live with nothing in my house. It doesn't mean that I can't find things that do bring me joy and happiness. Speaking of which, in one of my next videos, I'm going to show you how I organize my kitchen, and I will be adding a couple of things to it to make my life easier, such as organizing the cabinet under my sink. I had to purchase a few things to do that, and that's okay. It's all right to add things back into your life that add value. Here's a little sneak peek of my upcoming video. Now, I came across Swedish death cleaning by watching one of my favorite YouTubers help her mom with parting ways with things. However, there is the woman who came up with the concept of Swedish death cleaning, and she wrote a book on it. Her name is Margareta Magnusson. Her intention was to help people later on in life, but in my opinion, these concepts of hers could help anybody at any stage in life. I know it did me. Her book is called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. I'll put an Amazon link below in my description just in case you decide to buy a copy for yourself. And if you do, I am an Amazon affiliate, so they might give me a little something if you do use my link, but no pressure, and it won't cost you anything if you do decide to use that link. If you're decluttering a whole house full of stuff, make sure that you check out my series, What I Wish I Knew Before I Started Decluttering. It could help you out a ton. The first video goes over some tips that you could use while decluttering, and the second one is on sentimental items. The third one is on clothes and accessories, and the fourth one is on household items. You might want to watch them before you start your decluttering process. I wish I would have watched something like this before I started. Leave me a comment and let me know if you've had any good or bad experiences with Swedish death cleaning.